Hi everyone, and welcome to the February Resident Town Hall. Today we are going to be focusing on how and why you should live on campus for the upcoming academic year. My name is Jenny Cotton. I'm the Executive Director of Housing and Residence Life here. We have a couple of folks on who will introduce themselves as they start talking about some of the different options that we have available. But before we get started, I just want to give you guys a quick overview of what all we're going to be covering today. So today we're going to talk about why you should live on campus, what housing options are available and things that you need to consider, including our second year experience. So for our first year students who are rising second years, we have some exciting options available. We're going to talk through the application process, what you need to do once your application is complete, and then we'll have time for questions and answers, which you'll be able to post in the chat. But we also have some pre-populated FAQs that we'll go over, so make sure to look out for those before you ask your question. But before we get started, I do want to go ahead and share a quick video that we have that talks a little bit about the on-campus residential experience. Looks like we're having just a little bit of technical issues. We're going to get that sound on for you guys, so hold tight for 1 second.
Imagine for a moment you're a yellow jacket at the Georgia Institute of Technology here in Atlanta, Georgia, where a uniquely advanced group of jackets have come together to learn and create as a swarm. This is the campus resident, a subgroup of the yellow jacket species that chooses to live in habitats located directly on campus. For this subgenus, it seems living among the campus buzz has led to more consistent success in academia as well as in social life. Daily life in the colony starts early. The residential jacket has the advantage of waiting until the last minute to rise before beginning their journey to in-person classes. While others spend time in miserable daily migration, these jackets enjoy some extra shut-eye or more time for a hearty breakfast before starting their day. You might think that living in this urban environment would limit the yellow jacket's opportunities to experience the outdoors. In fact, the residential habitat includes many green spaces and access to trails across campus and the entire city. Seeking sustenance is also much easier for the residential jackets, as the additional access to convenient dining halls provides them with a constant and reliable source of nutrients. When they return to the nest at night, these jackets benefit from the presence of trained, experienced yellow jackets who provide enrichment programs for their group and see to the overall wellness of each individual member. With all of the benefits and conveniences of living life in campus habitats, it's no wonder many yellow jackets are eager to join the swarm. Yellow jackets who submit their application between February 1st and February 28th will have the best chance at their ideal nesting site for the coming fall.
Awesome. Well, that's just a fun little video that shows some of the benefits of living on campus. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Next up, we have Dr. Gibson, who's going to be talking to us a little bit about what things you need to consider for living on campus. So Dr. Gibson.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cotton. Again, I am Dr. Cherie Gibson, and I serve as the Director of Residence Life. And thank you again for joining us this morning. So as you are considering living on campus, we just wanted to bring to your attention a couple of options that we believe you should definitely consider in this process. So first, we do have some living learning community options for upper class students. One of those is the newly formed second year experience. We are going to have a smaller group of students piloting this program, and we have information that's available on the website for you to learn more about kind of the focus of the program and what we'll offer. And it will be in North Ave this year. We also have WIST, which is Women in Science and Technology and iHouse, that are living learning communities as well. They're, I think, the oldest living learning communities we have on campus and have been established several years ago. But there are lots of great options there, and my colleague and a few will talk a little bit more about those programs. If you're interested in gender inclusive housing, that information is also on our website so that you can see how to apply for gender inclusive housing in our process. Much like you did if you're living on campus now, or if you are returning, we do have residence halls and apartments on both East and West Campus. If you are on our housing webpage, you're able to look at each building, and each building will give you a description of the amenities and where it's located on campus. We have North Avenue apartments, and we have a host of apartments also on West Campus, and GLC, which is our Graduate Living Center, and 10th and Home, which is our area for families and grad students. And that information about what rooms are available will be on our webpage during that self-assigned period, which you'll learn more about. Also, we will have meal plan options for you. If you go to mealplan.gatech.edu, you'll be able to see the everyday and weekday options that are available, and you will be able to select that in the housing application to make your choice. If you're not aware, we are moving to becoming a self-operation with dining, so please make sure you're keeping an eye out on all of that information. I will now send it over to Carrie White, who will talk to you more about our living learning community options.
Thanks, Cherie. So I am Carrie White, and we this year have several options for students who are going to be living on campus as upper class students, whether that's as a rising second year or otherwise. But if you are a rising second year, you're currently a first year student, you have the option to choose the second year experience, which will be a small program that we're going to have in North Ave. And students will have an opportunity to get more support that is right on time for what you're experiencing as a second year student. And so we hope that you will consider that opportunity. We're going to focus on academic support, what your future goals might be, whether that's grad school or a job right out of college, or maybe starting your own business, as well as your health and well-being, and how we can provide opportunities and resources for you that fit where you are at Georgia Tech right now as a second year student. You can also apply for both WIST and iHouse. Applications are actually due today for those, but if we still have space available, we will extend the application deadline for that. And so go ahead and check those applications out now. You can go to the website llc.gatech.edu and get links to those applications today. You can also find information there to email the directors if it looks like the application is already closed, and you can check in to see if there's still an opportunity after today. And that's February 18th is today. So by midnight, technically the applications are closed, but if, like I said, there's space available, you can still apply. If you are currently in a first year living learning community, that's the honors program, global leadership, green challenges, impact, or explore, then you have the option to continue with your living learning community, and you should have received information from your community about that, and you'll be able to select that option just like the second year experience on your housing application. So when you log in to apply for housing, you'll see that as an option, and you can select that if you would like to live with your current first year living learning community in the upper class living learning community blocks. If you're not a second year student, or you're not going to be a second year student next year, you're already an upper class student, and you were in a first year living learning community, you may still see that option to continue to live with your living learning community. And those self-assigned for those living learning communities, those 5 I just described, will be in March 17th and 18th. And you will need to make sure that you have all the information from your community about that and any requirements that you need to fulfill in order to participate. And that's all I have. And Jennifer is going to talk to us more about the whole process for all students. You're muted, Jennifer.
Thank you. We want to invite you to apply for the 21-22 academic year unless you already have, and then thank you. If not, please apply by February 28th. Current residents will receive an automatic delay prepayment. Otherwise, please make your $600 prepayment under the deposit tab in ePay. If you're not able to make this payment at this time, you can call us or email us at information@housing.gatech.edu and request one. A delay simply means that you'll pay in full in August when all fees are due. An application is considered complete once you accept the application cancellation penalty and accept the contract online. At this point, you will also receive a confirmation email. Summer housing opens in March, and new this year, you must be taking classes. If you're going to do an internship or a co-op, we're asking that you sign up for intern lodging program. Next slide, please. The next slide, please. This is a sampling of how room selection numbers are determined. They are based on a housing classifications first: returning grad, returning upper class, and rising second years. Then it's in class status order according to the registrar's office, credit hours earned at Georgia Tech at the end of fall 2020, and then random within the same amount of hours. A rising second year is a housing classification for students who matriculated to Georgia Tech for fall or summer 2020 or spring 2021, regardless of the registrar's classification. Now back to you, Dr. Cotton.
Thank you, Jennifer. Just a couple of things to keep in mind as we're going through the process. This is the timeline that we're operating off of. So March 1st through the 14th is when you can create your roommate groups, but you do need to make sure that everyone accepts the invite. March 15th will be our stay day. So that's the option for you to keep your same room for next year if you want to. And that's just for the students in upper class housing. So you can choose to stay if you are in a room that will, or you cannot choose to stay if you're in a room that will be used for athletics, staff, LLCs, first year experience, etc. But you should already have that notification. Otherwise, you're welcome to use that same option for next year if you are in upper class housing. March 19th through the 6th will be our self-assign process, and that's where you will select your room. The roommate with the best number is the one who should be selecting the room. So as you guys get your time tickets, and you're in your roommate groups, whoever has the first time ticket, that's who really needs to pick the room and then pull the rest in. So you want to make sure that you're checking your email so that you get that time slot and you know who should be going on when. The 7th through the 6th is room swap, so you're able to switch out rooms if needed. And then in early August, we will be doing move-in prior to fall classes starting. So again, that information will be sent out via email. So you're going to want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on your email so that you have the most up-to-date information. Again, just a reminder, the deadline is the 28th for you to complete your housing application. You can always apply after the 28th if you still need housing, but if you do apply after the 28th, you won't be able to participate in the self-assign process. So again, if you want to live on campus and participate in the self-assign process, you need to sign up by February 28th. Otherwise, if you want a little more time to think through what your fall semester is going to look like or wait until you get some more information, that's completely fine, but you will miss the self-assign process. So just please know that going in. Can I have the next slide, please? We do have a couple of frequently asked questions that we want to share. So I'm going to ask Jennifer if you can help me with this. I'll start with the first question. But these are just some of the questions that we get asked a lot. So we wanted to put these up and answer them here. But if you do have other questions, we welcome you to post those in the question and answer section, and we will get to those once we finish this presentation. So one of the questions that we get asked a lot is the one I just talked about. What happens if I apply late? And late would be after February 28th. You can still get housing, but you will not be able to participate in the roommate search and self-assign process. So that's important to remember. Jennifer, would you like to read the next one?
Sure. So you do not have to have a meal plan after your first year on campus. It's not required, but we still urge you to have one because it's still part of success for those who do live on campus. And again, like Dr. Gibson said, that we're going to a new type. It's going to be self-operating, and so we look forward to all the new changes. There's a lot of different changes too with the buzz funds this year and things rolling over. So there's a lot of new information out there if you look at their pages about how things are operating.
Great. The next question we often get is, how can I see what rooms are available? Those available rooms will be on our website during the self-assign process. So you need to make sure, again, that you're checking your email so that you can get your room selection number and the link to see that. So again, you're going to want to check your email, but you'll be able to see what rooms are available during self-assign, and that's what you will choose from.
And then Carrie covered a little bit of this, but can I still live with my LLC? And the answer is definitely. You can live, once you're in the LLC, you can always stay in your LLC and live with the upper class LLC. You just can't live in the first year units, but you can definitely live with the upper class LLC.
Great. And then another question we get is, what if my roommate is in a different classification different classification than me? The way that you'll find them is you'll search for them by add known, and it's helpful if you have their GTID number. So you'll need to put in their full name and then their GTID number. So instead of Jen, you would need to put Jennifer and make sure to have the GTID number, and then you should be able to find them and you guys can be able to link up that way.
And the last question applies to several different students right now. If you're an undergrad becoming a grad student, and then you're not sure if you should apply now as an undergrad student or wait until you're a grad student. And it really just depends. If you definitely want to live in grad housing, then definitely please wait until you become a grad student. If you want to live in undergrad housing, then you can go ahead and apply as an undergrad. But if you really think that you're going to become a grad, but you're not 100% sure, we do want you to go ahead and wait until you are a grad student. You have a longer time to apply if you wait until you become that grad student.
Thank you very much. So that concludes our FAQs, but I'm sure that you all have some questions of your own. So if you would like to submit those in the question and answer window over here, we can answer those for you right now while we have a little bit more time. Otherwise, if you think of a question after, you can always shoot us an email, and our email is information@housing.gautech.edu. So that goes straight to our assignments team, and they can help answer your questions and find out more information as it relates to your room selection process for next fall. So we'll give it a minute for questions to come in because I'm not seeing any currently. But if you do have questions, you can put those in the chat.
Folks, we've just reopened the Q&A if you want to put your stuff, your questions in there. But I also want to note that this event will be recorded so that we'll be able to, if anybody wants to go back and watch this later and has further questions, they'll be able to then. It looks like, so my name's Kate Kerno. I work with the communications team here at in Campus Services, and so I'm going to just be here helping with some of y'all's questions. So I see we have a question about where you can see all second-year housing options before self-assign. Jennifer, you want to talk about that? Both the difference between looking at options and then at the actual live web page and what they'll see?
Correct. So the second year options, if they're talking about the LLC, that will be in North Avenue West. If they're looking for the options that they'll see before they self-assign, then we will send out that link before they self-assign, and then they'll see what's available before their time to enter into self-assign. But you don't see what is available for you before you apply. Hopefully that answers that question.
I think we have the next one here, and it may be another good one for you, Jennifer. It says, what if I'm waiting for information about a fall internship? Should I still apply before the 28th, and will I be charged if I cancel after I end up getting an internship? That's a great one, we get a lot.
Yes, so yes, go ahead and apply now before the 28th. And then if you get the internship, you will just contact the internship office and they will approve it. And once it's approved, then you can cancel without penalties.
Excellent. That is, I'm sure a lot of folks needed to know that, so thank you. We have had a question about if we can change meal plan and buzz card fund allocation after the 28th deadline. And if folks are able to access their application after the deadline period?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Great. Yeah, and they would just access that the same way that they access the app in the first place, right?
Correct. The application, yes.
And Jennifer, can you speak to how long they have to make the meal plan changes?
I believe it is, I have to double check on it, but I believe they have up until, I want to say some in May, but I will get back on that because I truly believe it's till May on the meal plan changes. And then I believe they still can make changes. It's just not through the housing portal, but I will double check on that.
Thank you, Jennifer. I know there is a good bit of time for folks to make changes, and I think there's even some options to switch things up in August as well. So
correct. Yes, through the meal plan. So there's a time that it switches out of housing and goes to the meal plan. And I believe some of that information, it should be listed in there when you're going through the meal plan. I believe dates and times are listed on that page.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, I just put a link in the chat for meal plan information and an email address that you can reach out to if you have more questions. And I know we had a question about meal plans at GT Lorraine. We're going to point you in that direction for that because that is well outside of our scope of responsibility or being able to answer with any accuracy. So I'll recommend y'all follow that same information there. Another question that's come in. So we've had a question about what second year housing that isn't second year experience. So what are the options for a student who didn't want to do second year experience? Again,
it's everything else on campus, everywhere else on campus.
Is it fair to say that for the most part, most traditional halls are going to be your first year only halls? Apartments is more likely to be upper class students.
Correct. So everywhere else except first year halls. So yes.
Oh, this is an excellent one. If we want to live with the exact same roommates in the exact same room in the fall, should we do the stay option?
So yes, if you're all in the exact same rooms in your apartment now or suite, then yes, go ahead and you all just choose stay, and you'll all just be fine.
Wonderful. And again, stay day is the 15th of March this year. So everybody mark your calendars. It starts, I believe we said it was going to start at 9 a.m. on the 15th and run through 9 a.m. on the 16th.
Yes, and it doesn't matter if because it's just you staying in your own room. No one else can grab that room. It doesn't matter if you do it at 9 or wait till 9 p.m. that night. You know, there's no one ahead of you for that room.
Excellent. Wonderful. I see we have, oh, just that Jenny has replied there. Thank you so much, Jenny. I think we'll give folks another few minutes for questions because I know we have brought up some information that was new for students, and I know we have quite a few folks watching. We've got someone who is debating whether or not to live on campus, and just want to know kind of what their best options would be in terms of deciding when they should decide by kind of what those thresholds for making a decision are.
Well, we definitely tell students, you know, apply when you feel comfortable and you know that you definitely want to live on campus. But if you're a returning student, then definitely if you want to participate in finding roommates and you want to go ahead and participate in self-assigned, then you need to apply before the 28th.
There was a question with that about what the penalty for cancellation is if you don't have an internship but just decide to go elsewhere. Can you just remind us of the website where that schedule of penalties can be found?
Yes, so that is on our website, but it is also, it goes down in increments of months. And so it goes down $120. So when we ask for the prepayment, it's $600, and then it goes down. So we start at March 1st through March 30th, you would lose $120, and then April would be $240, and then it continues down per month all the way until so July would be, we take the full $600. August, then if you still attend tech and cancel with us, it's $1,000, and then after the contract, it's the full contract amount.
Great. And again, that's on our website as well as in the actual housing application contract for them to accept. So
yes.
We've got a question here about, is there a way to see what's left in terms of room availability after the upper class students decide? So can you talk, Jennifer? I know that today is really the Jennifer Grover show, and we appreciate having you here and all your expertise. Can you talk a little bit about just how that list of available rooms is live and how it kind of behaves throughout self-assigned period?
Yes, so you will have a list of rooms, and it refreshes every 10 minutes. You can hit refresh and it will show you exactly what rooms are still available. The only reason we're not asking you to go on that you have to wait, like on the 17th and 18th, the only rooms that will show are the rooms for the living learning communities. So we don't want people to look on there and say, there's no more housing. But if you wait until the 20th or whenever that night for your room selection, you will go on there, you will see the rooms that are available for you. And at that point in time, you can watch, and as rooms fill up, they will actually drop off that list in real time. Every 10 minutes, it will come off that list. So, you know, if a couple hours or an hour or 30 minutes, whatever you feel comfortable with, if you and your accepted roommates want to start looking through that and combing through that, you can do it by building. You can sort by the amount of people that you want to see, like a 2-person apartment, 4-person apartment, 6-person apartments. You know, there's different types of ways that you can sort that list, and then it will show you what's available. And the key when you go in to choose your room, the most important key is to pick more than one bed space. If you have 4 people that you're trying to assign, you have to pick 4 bed spaces when you go into the portal. But we will be available to help you if you have any questions.
Excellent. Thank you, Jennifer. And again, we know there is a lot of case-by-case questions you might have, and so reaching out to information@housing.godtech.edu is always a helpful thing to do, and we'll drop that email address here in the chat for you in a second. We have another question about apartments. If I'm in an apartment with open rooms, will those rooms be filled next semester if I choose to stay, or are we still planning to have the less than maximum occupancy in those rooms? I don't know if that's actually been if we've thought that far ahead, so maybe Dr. Cotton, you want to take that one?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy to speak to that one. As of right now, we're planning on full occupancy for fall semester. We have not heard otherwise. So I would say yes, if you are in an apartment right now with empty rooms, I would anticipate having those rooms filled for fall unless we communicate otherwise in the upcoming months. But that's how we're planning to do assignments currently.
Great.
And it looks like we missed a question a little bit earlier. It says, I'm a rising second year looking to obtain a single room for fall. What single room options are available?
Oh, thank you for catching that. Yeah. Jennifer, is that something you are able to speak to?
I'm not exactly sure what they mean by a single room. We have rooms within an apartment, and so our apartments are, you have your own bedroom, and then you share a bathroom with one other person, and you typically share the living room and the kitchen with 3 other students. We do have some 6-mans, we have a few 5-person apartments, and a few 7-person apartments. So you have your own bedroom to yourself.
All right. I encourage that person, if that didn't answer your question, to reach back out to us here
Yes.
and to reply again in the chat. There's a question here I'm going to send through about just the PPE kits that we handed out in fall. I believe those have all been distributed, and we didn't have any particular plans to create to do more. But I know that there's also plenty of opportunities through SGA and some other student groups to get that kind of stuff if you are new to campus and are looking to get more masks and hand sanitizer in your life. All right, I know we're gonna leave this open for a few more minutes still for in case there's any other questions. And again, I'll echo that this recording will be available through this same link on the housing website as soon as this event is over. So if anybody needs to revisit this and watch again for other questions, we encourage you to. But again, we encourage you to just reach out to us at information@housing.godtech.edu for for any specific questions that you might have. All right, well, I'm not seeing any more questions, so I think we'll leave it here. But again, we are super available to y'all throughout this application process for any of your questions, and we really appreciate everyone being here. Dr. Cotton, do you want to close things for us here?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to all our presenters today. Hopefully you all found this information helpful as you're looking to make your plans for housing for fall semester. But again, as Kate mentioned, if you have additional questions or if there are other things that you're considering, please make sure to reach out to us. You can reach out to us through our website. You can reach out to us via email at housing.godtech.edu, and then we're also on social as well, where we try to keep information published and updated. So hopefully one of those different platforms is something that you're comfortable with, and you can reach out if you have any questions or need additional information. But we appreciate you living with us this year, and we hope that you'll come back and continue with us next year. Thank you for joining today.